All right. So, welcome everyone. We're going to start seated in our chair. And chair class is kind of interesting. Using a chair for yoga is kind of interesting. So it requires a little bit more, almost a little bit more discipline to make sure your alignment is good and that you feel solid and steady using a chair. And one of the ways to do that, if you're sitting in your chair and your thighs are pretty parallel with the floor, you're good. If you are a little bit shorter stature and your feet don't touch the floor easily, then maybe take your blocks and put your feet on the floor or on your blocks. And if you are taller than your chair, maybe you sit on a couple, one or two blankets to bring your hips up so that you're not, sitting kind of like that with your knees way higher than your hips. And then feel your feet on the floor or on your blocks. Sit really tall, right? So the tendency is going to be to get loungy. We don't want to get loungy, all right? We may come to loungy, but we really want to work on our posture, our alignment. So I sit away from the back of the chair so that I can keep nice and tall. I feel my sit bones on the mat. If your chair is particularly hard or uncomfortable, you can sit on a blanket as well. So once you're there, go ahead and close your eyes. I wanted to read a quote this morning to start our class this day before Thanksgiving. So just feel your feet on the floor, on the mat, and start to feel really grounded, like feet to the floor as if you were drawing roots down into the earth. Your sit bones even, your spine nice and tall, the eyes closed, feeling your breath move in and out. And this quote is by Melody Beattie. And it goes along with our friend Linda's newsletter for today, newsletter that she just sent out as well. And Melody says, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So breathe that in. Breathe in that sense of gratitude. We're reminded that even in the worst of times, there is something that we can find to be grateful for. We can see life as the cup half full instead of half empty, or maybe full, maybe overflowingly full. And as we breathe, we feel our shoulders soften. We feel the effects of gratitude in our bodies, our cells, our muscles, our brain, our heart. And then starting class with just a little bit of breath work. Nadi Shodhana is one of my favorites. If you've been with me any length of time, you've probably done this one with me. It's also known as alternate nostril breathing. And if you know it, you can go ahead and start. I will explain the first few rounds and then I'll quit talking and we'll just breathe for a little bit. So again, making sure your feet are grounded. Now, if you have a deviated septum, this is very difficult to do. And so I'll give you an option for that. And if you're really stuffy, you might not feel like you can get so much air in, but just work with it a little bit. So take your right hand, and there's lots of things you can do with your fingers. I like to keep it simple. And so taking a full breath in, take your thumb and close off your right nostril. Exhale with your left side nostril. Inhale, left side. Close that side off with 1 or 2 fingers. Exhale, right side. Inhale, right side. Close off the right side. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Close off that side. Exhale, right. Now, if you have a deviated septum and this is really challenging, breathe in and out the same side and then switch to the other side. And as you're doing Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, see if you can really draw the breath in without tensing, especially in the jaw. See if you can just breathe it in. And I always visualize Nadi Shodhana as a circle. As the breath comes in, goes across, comes down, and then coming up, going across and coming down again. Nadi Shodhana is known to calm the nervous system. It is said to balance the right and left hemispheres of the brain. I use Nadi Shodhana a lot if I'm feeling anxious about something or concerned about something and need to just calm down. So continuing at your own speed, taking full inhales, full exhales. Two more full rounds right here. And when you are finished, release your hands. And just feel the quality of your breath and maybe your state of mind. And then imagine Nadi Shodhana coming in through the right foot, all the way up the right side of the body. And feel that breath exhale through your whole left side down into and out of your left foot. And inhale, left side. No hands. Exhale, right side. Good, 2 more rounds right here. Inhaling the right side. Exhaling the left side down into the earth. Inhale, left side. Exhale, right side. And then open your eyes. Start to roll your shoulders. Check that your ankles are right in line with your knees so that the feet aren't tucked back and behind. And inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale right to your heart. Good, and 2 more. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale to your heart. Last one, inhale. Exhale right to your heart. Inhale, both arms up. Take the left hand down your chair, anywhere that you can touch. It could be your seat, the chair leg, and stretch over to the left. So you're not just hanging, right? There is some support for this stretch. As we breathe, as we stretch the right side, now press down into the right hip. Find your breath. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, your right hand slides somewhere down your chair. The left arm reaches over. Check the left side shoulder. See if it is staying in alignment and not rolling forward. Find your breath. Press into maybe your left foot, your left hip. Inhale, both arms up. Cactus arms, everybody. Stretch the elbows back. Stretch the wrists back. And then bring them center and squeeze. Good, open them up. Exhale, squeeze them in. Good, 3 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. 2 more. And let it go. 1 more, big deep breath. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good, open those arms to cactus and twist everything to your left. Open the elbows as wide as they'll go, even though your torso is twisting. Take the right hand to your left knee, resist the urge to let the left knee fall in, and then take your left hand and just drape it anywhere on or behind your chair. Good, and breathe. And then notice the cervical spine, right? Notice the neck. Don't over twist from there, but feel the belly button moving. Feel the low ribs moving, feel the chest moving toward the left. Good, now press into the feet. Inhale as you lift the torso and make it longer. And then exhale it and sit well in your twist. Good, as you inhale, release, arms come up, cactus pose. Twist everything to the right and pause for a moment. Open the arms wide just for a second to spread out through the chest. And then left hand comes to right knee. Resist that right knee falling into the middle and let your right hand drape somewhere behind your chair or at the chair seat, whatever feels right for you. So we're all using different chairs. We all have different size bodies and different size chairs. So find what works well for you in class. Find what feels right, where you put your hands, where you breathe. Good, and then inhale as you lengthen your torso. Exhale, let that twist settle deeper. And then release both arms. Inhale, cactus arms, take them out wide. Straighten the arms, curl your fists, but instead of curling up, I want you to curl the fists down and then squeeze them in like you're like the big Hulk, right? Good, and then open them up, palms up, tap your fingers. Open the arms wide, turn the palms down, curl your fists, squeeze them in. You can even growl there, and then inhale, arms up. Last one here, arms open, palms turned down, fists curl, squeeze, and then I can't resist the face, right? And then open them up, turn the palms up. Exhale right to your heart. Roll your shoulders back and shake it out. Grab your strap if you have it. I didn't cue that in the beginning, but it's always good in my classes to have these things nearby. Take that strap nice and wide. Be mindful as you take the arms up overhead. Draw the bottom tips of the shoulder blades down the back, and then tone the belly in so that the low ribs soften back in toward the back body. You probably have to go a bit wider. We're going to take the arms back. Don't hurt your shoulders, right? Notice where you can go for you. Try not to dip the head, the chin. Maybe that strap comes to the back of your chair, and then inhale. As you exhale, release it forward. Good, let's do a few more of those. Inhale it up, squeeze it back and down. Inhale up, exhale forward. One more. Inhale it up. Exhale, squeeze it back, opening up this chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Good. Take that strap narrower, right? Maybe shoulders width apart. Bring the arms up. The palms are facing forward. Hold on to the strap, but don't over grip. Don't kill the fingers here. And just bend the elbows so that the strap comes behind your head. And breathe for a moment here. Notice how that feels as we stretch through the front of the chest and engage the back body. Remember that your feet are still grounded here. So inhale, reach up. Exhale behind the head. Inhale it up. Exhale behind the head. Oh, good. Inhale it up. Listen up. Take it over to your right. Curl the strap forward toward that right side. Circle it all the way around. Take it up to the ceiling and go the other way. Start left. Circle toward that left side. Circle in front of you and take it up. Good. One more, both sides. Reach, stretch, lift, open. And last one, left, down, up, and open. And then just release that strap fully, set it off to the side. And notice, right, upper body starting to open up just a little bit. Your feet are in front of you. I'm just gonna scoot my chair back so you can maybe see a little bit. So I want you to gently hold on to the sides of your chair if you happen to have sides of your chair. If not, just hold on somewhere. Worst case scenario, maybe you're just sitting on those hands. You're just trying to ground upper body a little bit. And then lift your left knee or left foot off the floor. And notice what that takes. Lift the chest, gently hold on to your chair, and then stretch that foot out in front of you. Bend the knee, set it back down. Good. Lift your right, press and extend. Lift it back up and set it down. The lift is important, so don't just kind of, it's not how high you are lifting the leg, but see if you can lift the knee, working with the psoas hip flexors. Press the left leg out, lift up, set it down, right side, push it out, lift it up and down. Good, so left side 5 times, same side. 1, push out. Bend it back to chest. Try not to collapse. Try not to lean into the back of your chair. 2, 3, and 4. Good, and 5. Hold that extension. It does not have to be this high. Okay, if that's really difficult, take it lower. You can sit toward the edge of your chair. Now push into your right foot. Lift the arms up. Find your breath. Yeah. And release the arms, hold onto your chair, bend the knee, bring it into chest, and set it down. Ooh, yeah, who knew, right? All right, right side for 5, lift up, push it out, slow, bring it in, and push it out. That's 2, here's 3, and 4, and 5. Hold it if you can. It can be lower. Remember that. There's nothing about the height that means anything. It's where your legs are going to go. Quadricep working super hard. Press into your left foot, that grounded leg. Take the arms up as an option. And breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come down. Right knee bends. And foot comes to the floor. And breathe. Left side, lift the knee. Press that leg out. Listen up. Keep your chest tall if you can. Take that left leg out to the left. It can slide along the chair if you have the room. And then slide it all the way across and drop that so your knee on top of knee. Walk your right foot more towards center and just roll forward. Stretch it out. Stretch out your back. Maybe stretch out the hip. Find your breath. And then slide yourself back up. Your left knee is over your right, and then just slide the leg out to figure 4. Now, for some of you, your right foot is going to have to come out further to give the left hip some space. So feel free to do that. You all are experienced yogis. I trust all of you to know what to do to vary the pose that we're in. And then just notice how this feels as we move into a seated figure four. The right foot, the foot on the floor is grounded. You feel that gently pressing into the floor. Your hands go toward the back legs of your chair, maybe the back seat. That might be too far for most of us. Maybe even to your sacrum if there's nothing back here to reach for, and just tilt forward. Right? Oh yeah, just breathe. Nice, sweet stretch. The other thing that I notice about chair work is that sometimes you can be too far forward or too far back, and it doesn't feel good on the hamstring attachments, the sit bones. So you can always slide forward or back a little bit to find your happy spot. Good, some of you are good right here. Some of you are going to be able to drape down, right? Those open hipped ones of us, the other ones are going, are you crazy? So just breathe here, just open up the hip. What I love about chair work is we can tend to do longer holds, which is really sweet. All right, so wherever you are in your figure four, come on up, lift your left leg off, press it straight out, and then release. All right, still sitting toward the front edge of your chair, so try not to lean back if you can help it. Lift your right leg and press it out in front of you. Take it out to the right side, and then take it all the way across and go knee over knee. And then just walk your left foot in a little so it's a little bit more centered in your on your mat, and then maybe curl forward. This is a really nice stretch for your back. If you're doing a lot of desk work and you're feeling your low back cranky, you can try this. It's a really supported, a really sweet little supported forward fold as you stretch through the back muscles. Good, and then slide up. Bring your hands just somewhere where they feel supported. Slide your right shin across to come into figure four on this side. You might have to adjust your left leg a little bit to make this feel proper in your body. Lift up really tall. One, you're here. Two, you might slide the left leg out a little bit to give your hip a little bit more space, or you're draping forward any amount. As we start to come forward, we can feel that stretch along the hip, along the glute. Maybe we drape all the way down and hang out for a few moments, counting all our blessings. One of which is making it to yoga class this morning. Good, breathe. And come on up, everybody. Lean back a little bit, hold onto your chair, release that right leg and stretch it out, and then let go. All right, so this one, I want you to scoot forward on your chair, but then lean back. You can lean all the way back if you want, or you can kind of do a more supported lean back. I have my elbows pressing into the back of my chair. I'm gonna lift both legs and see if I can push them out. And squeeze in, push out. You got it, squeeze in, push out. And 4, whew, yeah, a little bit of core work. And 5, hold them out if you can. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. I was sliding back the whole time. Good, and shake it out. Inhale, everybody, lift up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, separate the feet just a little bit. Take your hands to your knees and do a few seated cats and cows. So, right, as we stretch through an inhale, and then as we exhale and curl back, inhaling, lifting, exhaling, curling. 2 more, inhale, lift, exhale, curl. Last one, inhale. Exhale, curl it. And then inhale to a lift. Widen the feet a little bit more. Draw the knees out so that your shins are pretty much straight up and down. And then tilt the torso forward. Just put your elbows on your knees. Right, you're sitting on the sit bones. The pelvis is tilting forward. Our belly is slightly toned here. And again, mindful of your particular body, your back in particular. So some of us are going to stay here, a little bit more neutral spine as we do a seated forward fold. Some of us are going to be able to take the arms or the hands down to the floor or maybe to a block as we stretch out through the back body. Now I am very cautious about rounding here. It's not my idea of a good time. So I'm keeping a pretty neutral spine, but as I do this forward fold, I'm also coming into a pretty deep hip stretch. Think happy baby, right? So the back is pretty neutral, the head is neutral, feet are planted, and we're just stretching through those hip lines. The other thing that I'm doing in this pose that you might want to play with is my arms are pressing ever so gently into the inside knees. And my knees are pressing ever so gently back into the arms. So they're staying neutral, they're staying solid, but I'm creating a little bit of isometric work here. Good. Keep breathing, keep lengthening through your whole torso. So crown is going one way, tailbone's going the other way. Find your breath, tone your lower belly, and then take one hand to one knee, one hand to the other knee. Lift from the chest, come all the way up to a seat. And walk those feet back to hips width apart. And maybe even kind of windshield wiper those legs a little bit. Good, just a couple more here before we get up to standing. Take the left leg and straighten it out in front of you. Your right foot is on the floor, nice and solid. And the other thing to be mindful of, right, is that ability of the chair to tip. I'm kind of demoing here. So even as we tilt forward, I'm still pressing my weight or my energy of my hips back. Be mindful here as you start to take the torso forward. Again, maybe your hands are coming to your blocks. Hopefully those blocks are where you can reach them. Maybe your hands are to the floor. Maybe your hands are just lightly on both legs. One hand to knee, one hand to shin. As we stretch out the back of the legs. This one can be a little famous for being funky on the sit bones. It can feel yucky, so be mindful there. If it doesn't feel good, try to scoot back or scoot forward to make that feel better. Good, nice laying through the tailbone. Isometrically draw your left leg back, the one that is extended. Isometrically press into your right foot. Find your breath, everyone. Good, and then walk the hands up. Roll your shoulders, slide the left heel back, straighten the right. If you need to come off that sit bone for a moment, right? Just lift off the chair, shake it out, and come on back. Your right leg is extended. Don't hyperextend through the right knee. Start to hinge forward from the hips. Maybe your hands come to blocks, maybe not. Breathe. Maybe your hands can reach the floor. Isometrically dig that right heel in and then pull it back isometrically. So we engage that hip socket, the muscles. I'm pressing into my left leg. And then lengthen your torso. Big deep breath. That's it. And one hand to your knee. Come on up all the way up. Good, both hands to knees. You won't be able to see this, so imagine it. You're gonna point and flex your feet, but you're doing that on the floor. So as you press down, try to touch your toes and then lift them back up again. Oh, good, and a couple more right here. Press and lift, last one, press and lift. Slide those heels back so that your shins are parallel. Lift your heels off the floor. Feel your lovely calf muscles engage. Tone the belly. Inhale the arms up and breathe. Keep lifting those heels higher, higher, higher. If you cramp up, let it go, you know. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. So blocks are off to the side. We don't need them just now. Take those feet nice and wide and come all the way toward the edge of your chair. Take your hands to your heart. Make it kind of a goddess pose, right? Feet are slightly angled out for most of us. I think it feels better angled out than pointed forward. And then lean forward just enough to stand up. Squeeze your cute little behind. Know that the chair and your feet have not moved. And sit back down. Please be mindful of your knees here. Inhale, push into your feet to lift. Exhale, down and let go. Good, 3 more. Push and release. 3. Or actually, that was 2. 1 more. Push up and sit back down. Good. And then walk the feet in so they're more parallel, straight ahead, but still wider than hips width apart. Hands come back to your heart. Lean forward enough to stand up. Squeeze your hips, squeeze your glutes. Chair hasn't moved. You can always look if you need to. Sit back down. Good. Stand up. Come on down. And up. Got to be squats in there somewhere. And down. Good. Stand up. And down. 1 more. Stand up. And down again. Check out the knees, right? Maybe shake them out. So we're going to come one more set, more narrow. If being this wide hurt your knees and you want to go wider still, just go wider still. The key to these squats is to push into your feet, right? And be able to stand up without doing this, hands somewhere. All right, last set of 5. Hands to heart, feet are roughly hips width apart. Stand up and sit down. In fact, do me a favor, grab a block. I think this will make it easier. Put a block up at the upper part of your thighs, squeeze the block and stand up, right? And sit down. Good, and stand up and down, that's 2 and 3. Oh yeah, that makes it much easier, doesn't it? And 4, whoo. And last one, 5, stay standing. And then release the hands, squeeze your block, just feel the energy of that pose. It was a wonderful, I don't know if it was a wonderful story. Ram Dass had a stroke, and he said that one of his first goals after stroke was to be able to get up from the toilet seat without assistance and without using his hands. And so he started to do, you know, these squats to strengthen his legs. I don't know if he actually did the squats, but he worked with a trainer to get strong enough to stand up without using his hands. I don't know if that's wonderful or not, but there you go, right? Things we can lose and things we can gain. All right, release your block. Set the blocks aside. We're not going to need them for now. This is going to be probably the only real shift in the chair that we'll need, or we'll change it once or twice. Take that chair to the short edge of your mat. Make sure both legs are on your mat so that it doesn't slip and slide. And then stand right in front of your chair. So sun salutations with a chair are interesting. They're not going to be the same as you would do if your hands are on the floor. What's awesome about them is it's super sweet on the wrist. It doesn't hurt the wrist. You don't have as much weight on them for some reason. But what also happens is you end up being a little bit shorter and maybe the hands aren't quite as wide. So play and adjust as you need to. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come to the chair. Forward fold. I touch my head to the chair. Inhale, halfway up. Press the hands into the chair. Lengthen and look up. Exhale back down. Good, step back, right leg. When I do that, I have to shift my left leg forward to find a proper length lunge. So you might have to do this too. Stop right here for a moment and just feel your lunge. Just feel the alignment, front knee, front ankle, shoulders open and back. My hands are wide on my chair. I have my pinky finger wrapped around the side, but the rest of the hand is pressing into the chair. Good, step back, downward facing dog. Again, adjusting your feet as you need to and pressing straight down in the chair. So I'm not pulling the chair back, I'm not pushing it forward. If you do, it'll slip, right? I'm pressing my hands straight down into the chair. And then bring your body forward, come up maybe on tippy toes and find plank pose on the chair. Squeeze the belly in, engage your legs, lengthen your torso. Some of you can gently drop the hip points toward the chair to do a variation on up dog. If this hurts your back at all, just don't do it. And then release back to downward facing dog. Good, look at your chair, step forward, right leg. Again, I have to readjust my left leg back a little bit, just so I'm not smack up against the chair. And then step forward, left leg. Inhale all the way up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Roll your shoulders back and breathe. So that's the basic sun salute. We're going to add to it. Of course we are. So I want you to, again, adjust as needed, especially if a chair class is new for you. All right, inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the chair, bow your head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, back down. Good, step back, left leg. Adjust the leg so that your lunge is proper length. And breathe. As you press through the heel, maybe you feel a stretch along the front left thigh. Good, step back, downward facing dog. Remember not to push or pull on the chair, but press straight down. And feel how much length you can get with your hands on chair. From here, tilt forward, find plank pose. And breathe, fire up the legs, fire up the hips. And breathe, maybe dip the hip bones toward the chair for up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Look to your chair, step forward, left leg. Adjust your lunge and breathe and feel that. Open up the shoulders, everybody. That's it. And then step forward, right leg. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Remember to stay at your pace. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale it down. Good, bend the knees, step back, right leg, adjust your lunge and breathe. 1, you're gonna stay here. 2, hands go to your left knee as you lift up your chest and open up the shoulders. And then maybe take the arms up. Also appropriate is hands stay on the chair, right? There's not a big reason to go further if you feel more stable there. Find your lunge for you. Breathe. And then exhale, hands are to the chair. Step back, downward facing dog. Pause here as you press down into the hands and stretch out your whole torso. Maybe wiggle the hips a little bit. From here, plank pose. Breathe, fire up the legs. Notice, maybe dip the hip points for a variation of up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Look toward your chair, step forward, right leg. Adjust your lunge accordingly. And breathe. 1, you're here, right? Just checking out this high lunge. Sometimes high lunge is difficult for folks. But with a chair, we've got some more room to negotiate. Or take those hands to your right knee. Open up the shoulders, maybe take the arms up. Find your breath. Feel gratitude for these bodies that work for us every single day. And then exhale, hands come back to your chair. Push off to step forward. Good, bow back down toward that chair and then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, look up. Exhale it down. Step back, left leg. Pause right here and breathe. Take your left hand, center of your chair. Start to tilt to the right and come into this twist lunge or lunge twist and breathe. So your left hand is doing some work here, right? I'm lifting out of that chair. I'm pressing up as if somebody had my right fingertips and we're pulling them up. Big deep breath. Exhale the right hand back to the chair. Straighten out both hands again. Step back. Downward facing dog. Hang in there with me. Good, plank. Maybe up dog. Breathe. No strain, no stress. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look at your chair. Step forward, left leg. Adjust your lunge. Right hand comes toward the center of your chair. Left arm reaches up. Right, there's this freedom, I don't know, in using a chair, lifting our bodies away from the floor just a little bit more, right, to find more movement. Good, everybody breathe, release that left hand back to the floor, straighten out both hands, step forward, maybe forward fold, and then come all the way up, lift those arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart and roll your shoulders and shake out those hands, shake out the wrists. That is such an awesome thing to do if you are doing a lot of desk work these days at home, making yourself go crazy. Just pause and do 2 rounds of sun salutes on your chair and you're ready to go. All right, so we're facing our chair again. Grab your blocks and just bring them up toward the chair just in case you need them. Let's see if I'm gonna stay warm enough here. So I'm facing my chair. I'm gonna take both hands to the chair and step back, left leg, and then turn the left heel in and the right foot forward. So you're in this kind of a warrior 2 lineup. So front foot is facing forward, back foot is either straight parallel or slightly angled with your slightly angled to the mat. I just scooted my chair in a little bit more. And what I really like is to maybe rest my shin on the chair. What type of chair you have, it might work, it might not. It's not a hard push unless your chair's against the wall, but it's just a touch. It's just a little bit of feedback here. So I know my ankle and my knee are straight up. Your right hand is either on your chair or it's on a block so that you've gotten even a little bit more lifted. I want you to feel that alignment. Good, so hands to the chair or hands to your block. Your whole left side chest opens up and then your whole side ribs open up so that everything lines up with your back ankle. Do you feel that? So what is this pose? It's extended side angle, right? So I'm gonna fire up my back glute, my back leg. I'm gonna press strongly into all 4 corners. And then I'm gonna tone belly, ribs, chest, get longer still. Take the left arm up and over your left ear. Now notice what's happening with the right shoulder. This is the case whether you're doing this pose on a chair or on your thigh or on a block to the floor, right? Is your right shoulder hiked up? Is it rolled forward? Can we reach through side body? Now, push stronger into your back foot. See if you can come to fingertips of your right hand, and then see if you can extend both arms up. Inhale all the way up. Open the arms wide to warrior. And then release the arms. Turn your whole torso back to the chair. And step back, downward facing dog. And breathe. Good, I'm gonna try not to turn the chair around, so I'll be facing away from you. But take the left foot forward. Maybe the shin comes to the chair. Drop your back foot to the side position. So we're here again, same thing. The left hip rolls back, right? I start to fire up the back leg, back glute. My left hand is on the chair and I start to open up my whole right side shoulder, the ribs, right? The glute on that back leg active. And only when I'm ready, the right arm goes over the ear. And the left shoulder softens away from the left ear as I breathe and find the pose. Now squeeze in the belly, press strongly through your back leg, back foot, and find this variation of extended side angle. Now the hard part comes in. We squeeze the belly. We see if we can release the left arm to work our cores even harder, and then lift up to warrior two, and breathe. And then release the arms, turn toward the chair, twist through your back foot, step back, downward facing dog, and just find your breath. Maybe from down dog, you come to plank and hold here, a little bit more upper body work, but watch the wrists, right? Find your breath. And then step forward. Bow down toward the chair. Maybe the forearms come to the chair. The head rests on your forearms and you find a forward fold. So part rest pose, part stretching the hamstrings, finding your alignment, right? Squeeze the imaginary block between your thighs and notice how that activates the legs a little bit more. Use your breath. Good, and then press hands into chair. Soften the backs of your knees and come all the way up to standing. If you didn't move a block, just take one block and set it either on your chair or near your chair, because we're gonna get to that one in a second. All right, so right leg forward. Hands can come to chair, step the left leg back. We're coming back into that alignment for warrior two or extended side angle. Front heel to back heel, for some front heel to back arch. I think that's a little narrow for many, so I stay heel to heel. My right hand kind of in line with the right hip, and we're gonna open up again to extended side angle. This time I want you to keep your top hand or your left hand to your hip. Roll the left shoulder back, lengthen through the, you're really lengthening through the tailbone, toning the belly in, turning everything to the side. Your hand is pressing softly into the chair. Good, left hand to your hip, and then slowly straighten your front leg. What is this looking like, right? Really quickly, triangle pose. So what happens when we straighten the leg? So bend and straighten it a few times. And notice what may or may happen to both the ribs, the shoulder, and the hip. So the next time the leg is straight, hold it straight. You know who you are. I know who some of you are. Don't hyperextend your front knee. In fact, lift your front toes and press into the ball mount. And then squeeze the belly. You can either leave the chair where it is. If you want to scoot it forward so that the arm is more straight up and down, you can do that. Press strongly into your back leg. Take the top arm up, triangle pose. Find your breath. Maybe the arm goes overhead. and breathe. Maybe you squeeze the heck out of your belly and come to your fingertips, and from fingertips, you release down the leg. Okay, so we're in triangle pose without the chair, but notice how much more work is required to hold triangle here as opposed to here. So maybe the hand to the chair can allow us to play with the pose, to lengthen through that whole left side while keeping both legs engaged. Good, soften your front knee. Inhale up, warrior. Maybe reverse it, just stretch it out. Let the left hand come back, right arm up and over. And release. Good, both hands to the chair, pivot your back foot. Step back to down dog and switch sides. So your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. Drop your back foot to the side position and do the same thing. Left hand stays on a chair, maybe on a block. And we're going to straighten your right hand to your hip, straighten and bend your front leg. And just notice it, right? Where does it go? How does it feel? Does it cause more discomfort if I overly straighten, right? We don't want to do that. And then the next time the leg is straight, hold. Notice the left shoulder rolls back and down, the ribs tuck in. We fire up the legs, squeeze through the hips and glutes, and take the arm overhead and breathe. Maybe we smile, right? We've done triangle, some of us, 100 times, 200 times, right? Can you find a little different nuance here that you didn't notice before? From here, bend your front knee, find warrior two, reverse warrior, just stretch it out and release. Hands go to the chair. Pivot your back foot, step back, downward facing dog, stretch it all out. Good, and then press your hands into your chair, walk the feet up, just so your hips and ankles line up. So you'll have to adjust, and then drop down, forehead to arms to chair. Relax the upper body, but don't let it collapse. Nice neutral spine. Lift up through your sit bones. Feel how that stretches your hamstrings. Soften the knees. Squeeze the outer hips towards center. Big deep breath. And then press into your hands, step forward, bend your knees, and come all the way up. Oh, good. Roll your shoulders, everybody. I hope this is making some sense for you as we keep working through chair. All right, so interesting progression. One of the poses I love to do with a chair is half moon, right? Half moon is challenging. Especially when hands on the floor, hands to a block. But we can get there with a chair and play with our length and alignment without as much worry about that tippiness. There is a block there for a reason, because it'll depend on how you feel with your hand on a chair. Maybe the hand goes to a block instead. So right leg forward, left foot back. Excuse me. Take your right hand to the chair or to your block. Okay, I'm gonna scoot my chair back again so I have some room. And then take your left hand to your hip and start to play with the idea of lifting that left leg up. And then maybe drop it down again. Maybe lift up and back down. Good, this time we're gonna see if we can hold. If you are unable to hold, just keep lifting up and back. So what are we looking at in half moon? The chair gives us the ability to play. So, excuse me, when I look at my right foot, right knee, right ankle, right hip. Those are all pretty much straight up and down. The belly tones, the left foot toes are pointing forward. I'm pushing out of that heel. Maybe the arm goes up, but don't collapse into the right hand, right? Keep pushing out of the right hand. And then imagine somebody's got a hold of your left foot and is pulling that left foot away just a little bit. Breathe, everybody. Take your left hand to your hip, bend your front knee, and lower down. Woo, beautiful thing. All right, I'm just gonna turn my chair for this one. So we're gonna do left side. You know it. Left foot forward, right foot back. Make sure your chair is on your mat so it doesn't slip and slide. I find for half moon, I've got to walk my foot back a little bit so that when I lift up, my hand lands on the chair pretty well. So lean forward, take your hand to your chair, left hand. Already before you lift, start to see the side body opening up, knowing that when you lift, right, a couple times and tap down, you're gonna figure out your alignment, your footing. So we lift up, see, I'm still too far. Lift up, tap down. I had to move my left foot further away from the chair because I felt like I was coming too high or too far forward. All right, next time, see if you can lift your left leg and hold. Now your front thigh rolls back toward your top leg, toward your right leg. I'm pressing into my toes, but I'm trying not to over scrunch. The belly squeezes in. I push into my left hand and out of it at the same time. And take my right arm up. Power up your right leg. Power up the right heel. Squeeze tone, right? Here's where we play with that alignment. Your toes pointing straight forward, right? The standing leg stacked, the belly tone, the tailbone long. Somebody's pulling isometrically on my right foot to keep that leg active. And then release, bend your front leg, whoo, step down. Take both hands to your chair, step back, down dog. Good, big deep breath, everyone. And then look at your chair, walk those hands forward, or feet forward, bend your knees, and come on up to standing. Shake it out. If your block's on your chair, go ahead and take it off. If you are able, turn your chair around so that the taller part of it, the back side of it, is close to you. And then stand to that side of the chair, roll your shoulders, and just find a little mountain pose. Just breathe. And then take one hand to your chair. Take the outside leg to tree pose. And again, find your alignment, right? The chair is just such a nice little, I don't know, it's like a little training wheel that we can hold on to so that we can adjust everything else. Now, you all know, I hope by now, that if your foot all the way up to the inner left thigh is too much, you lower the foot until this knee isn't cranky anymore. The only place you have to be cautious is heel to inner knee. It's mostly not recommended. You can go higher, you can go lower. So find that, start to find your still point, squeeze in through the belly, open up your chest, one hand to heart. At some point, maybe both hands to heart. The chair is there, squeeze your left glute, fire up your left leg, don't hyperextend your knee. Maybe the arms come up, breathe. Maybe the arms are wide, maybe they come together, the fingers interlace, except for the index fingers. Breathe, squeeze your left glute. Find your breath. Find stillness. Keep your right hand where it is. Take your left hand back to the chair. Keep it there, even if you can balance. Now, I want you to close your eyes. And still feel balance without the sight of your eyes. That's it. Hold. Open the eyes, release your hands, release your leg, curl out the ankles, and switch sides. You can just turn around, turn your back around. Right foot is closest to the chair. Left foot is out to the side. Fingers rest very softly on the chair. Hopefully this is working for you. And then take the left leg into your version of tree pose. If you've been to any of my classes when I'm teaching tree, you know that the hip points point forward, right? They point forward, so it's not about the knee, it's about the hips. Now, push your right leg into your foot into your right leg. Leave your hands resting soft on the chair. Take one hand to heart. Find your still point, that drishti. There is something in front of you that your eyes can softly gaze at and beyond so that your mind can focus. When and if you're ready, release the other hand, bring them both to heart. Just see how that changes things. Glutes are active, hips are active. Maybe the arms go out. Maybe the hands come together, fingers interlace except for the index fingers. Maybe you smile, right? Because I'm focusing so much, I'm not smiling. Breathe. Ooh. Good, keep the left hand up, release the right hand back to the chair, hold here, and then just close the eyes. You can just have one or two fingers on the chair, but as we release one sense, we can see the alignment of the body from the press of the foot to the lift of the crown of the head. Breathe. Soften this new sensation, right? You have the chair, you're stable. And then open the eyes and release fully. Shake out your knee, shake out your legs. We have one more thing here and then we're going to come back to the floor. This one I like. You may or may not. And this also is going to depend on how tall you are and how much clearance you have on your chair. So we're going to do a series of 2 exercises. Your hands are going to come to your hips. The first thing that we're going to do is just tap. So lift one foot, tap, lift the other foot. All you're doing is tapping. Also works the hip flexors, works with balance, right? Find your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tap that foot, pause, and lift up. Breathe. Tap it down and lift up. One more, tap down, lift up, and release. Other side, tap the foot, and then for 3, lift up, tap down, lift up, tap down, lift up, tap down, and release. Again, a really nice strength exercise that's subtle, sneaky, but works. All right, here's the other one. Again, be careful balance-wise. Some of you might need to be fingertip to wall, but I think everybody will be okay here. Stay tall in your torso. Depending on how tall you are and how well your hips move, you're either going to, I'm going to start with my left leg and I'll demo both. You're either going to go across the low edge of your chair and tap down for 5. If you happen to be tall, or your chair is short, you can go high. So I'm just looking at my chair. I'm going to slide my leg over it and tap down for 5. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. You got it. 1 more. And 1. Good. Shake it out and do the other side. Don't assume both sides will be equal. Play where you are. Short edge, tall edge, no edge. Take it up and over. So it's an inside, over, and down. 3, 4. See if you can control it. And 5. Nice job, everybody. And then finally, just turn your chair so that the back edge is at the front edge of your mat. I'm going to put my shirt back on because we're going to come back. We're going to be coming back to the floor. So if you got warm, but you know you'll get chilly, even maybe have, if you happen to have a blanket nearby, you can grab your blanket. All right, so chairs in front, hands come to your chair, step back to down dog, and just stretch it out. Just breathe, everybody. Now, if you can, I want you to come to plank like we've done before, and either lower one or both knees to the floor. Both will go, but if you can, do both. The power here is upper body. So you're leaning over those wrists. You're going to slowly lower the knees until they come to the floor. Good. And then walk the knees back. Place your hands on the chair and drop your head toward the floor. Shoulder stretch. Sorry about that. Got a little tickle in my throat. Just stretch. And then release that stretch. Come on to your behinds. You're going to sit in front of your chair. And I want you to take, let's all do same side if we can. So left leg, again, depending on your chair, I'm going to take my left leg underneath my chair leg, and then I'm taking mine to the outside. So my knee is to the inside, my ankle is to the outside. You'll just have to work it out with your chair. Maybe it just goes straight through, or maybe it has to stay outside because of your style chair. So just feel that. If you have a blanket for your chair, you can put that down. My right foot is in Janu Sirsasana, so the right foot is holding on to the left thigh. And I'm just gonna lean forward. And there's a lot of options here, but what I like about this particular pose is there's no rounding of my back. I can just hang out here in this single leg forward fold without dumping into my low back or into my shoulders. I can stay pretty erect here, right? I can even lift up and just let the arms rest on the chair. And if this is super easy and you're not rounding, you can push the chair forward and instead take your forehead to the chair. Keep drawing the left leg back ever so gently. Find your pose. Find your stillness. If your forehead is to the chair, maybe you're resting it on a blanket or something softer than a cold metal chair. Breathe. That's it. Soften it. Keep softening down. And maybe start coming back to that whole idea of gratitude. And it, you know, it's more than just a concept. It is an act. It is a verb. It requires us to pause and take in all that we are grateful for. Good. So wherever you are in that pose, come on up, lift up. Slide the left leg out. Slide the left or the right leg straight, wherever you are. Same thing on this side, just finding your alignment for you. Taking forearms to chair or straight arms to chair. Finding your breath. And maybe just being comfortable here without feeling the need for another thing to happen, right? Meditation in action. Maybe closing the eyes, maybe just letting go of the need to do or be any more than you are right now. If you want more depth of pose, just pull the chair away from you a little bit more. Rest your forehead on the chair. Just feel the stretch. Forward folds are calming, quieting to the nervous system, much like our Nadi Shodhana in the beginning. Good, slowly release. I feel like it could stay there forever. If you have something soft for your chair, go ahead and put that on the chair. I should have cued that one before. And then release the legs out from under your chair. There's two options here. One is something soft for your chair. The second option is something soft for your behind, so that blanket would go on the floor in front. And then scoot toward the chair as you lay down. Put your legs up on the chair. For me, with this back, I have to tuck my feet under the back of the chair. It would be nice if you could have your knees, the backs of the knees, up against the chair. That's more stabilizing. If you can't because you have a weird chair, maybe the legs go straight and rest at the back instead. So a variation of legs up the wall. Again, an amazing pose for calming the nervous system, for finding that rest and restoration, right? Restoring our center, our bodies, our breath. But pause here. Feel your back body. Allow it to settle. Ideally, your shins or your thighs are somewhat parallel so that your sit bones feel really even. And then close the eyes. Make sure you are warm enough. Lengthen through the back of your neck. Soften and even out the shoulders, the hips, the feet. And feel the softness of your breath. Feel your body sink heavily toward the floor. in this restorative pose. Allowing your mind to both quiet and wander as the breath moves in and out, thoughts move in and out. Feel yourself getting heavier. Feel your whole world in this present moment filled with peace. This is a pose that you can stay in for a long time. So if that would be your preference here, please stay. Otherwise, we start to wiggle our toes and our fingers. We very gently start to move our legs away from the chair and up toward chest. Being mindful of the chair as our prop, allowing the knees to roll to one side or the other. And ever so slowly, pressing all the way back up to your seated pose.